Well, last week was interesting both on and off the track. We'll be sure to tell you why here in just a second. Ahead of coverage of tonight's debut of Barber Motorsports Park here on the channel, it's round 8 of the GoSquadra Formula Super Series. The Grand Prix of Birmingham, presented by Joey Selmants Art, is around the turn on turn 200.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all, until he landed in the divine dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
Welcome back to tonight's coverage of the GoSquadra Formula Super Series here on Turn 200. My name is Tommy Cook. Round number 8 of the season. It's the debut of Barber Motorsports Park here on Turn 200. Very excited. Although it's listed with only 16 turns, really there are A, B, and C turns littered throughout this course, so it brings the total up to realistically about 22 or 23. And all within about 2.4 miles from start to finish. It's kind of a cramped circuit with a lot of undulation and blind sweeping turns. It's a really, really fun one to watch, but it is a stressful one for these drivers, especially since the capabilities of this car well outpower the maneuverability of this track. It's an interesting combination for sure. Just to show off exactly how difficult of a night these drivers are going to have, it's time for a short lap with Matt Short.
My name is Matthew Short, and we're here round 8 at Barber for FSS Season 2. Coming out of the final corner, coming down the start-finish straight up to 6th. Here for the first left-hander. Going to hit the brakes at 1, down to 5th real fast, and you're going to commit right on this right-hand corner for the second corner. Stay about 3rd. Got to be patient. It's going to kind of bring out wide, but then you hit that throttle, rocket out of there. Careful on the crest here of 4. You can lose the rear end on cold tires. Coming down to 5. Second marker board, coming down to 2nd. Got to keep it tight in there. I like to keep it tight because you got a lot of exit room here to work with. Sometimes the rear gets squirrely there. Down for the 7, 8, 9 complex, I usually brake here around the 1 marker board. I hold it in 5th, keep it easy through here, but then do all the braking after going through 8. The 10, 11 complex is going to be completely flat out after you get those tires warm. Coming up to 12, I do like to lift right before 1, and then come down to 5th. You can use a little bit of that curb on the right side, and then completely flat out through here. You get early on the brakes for the final 2 corners just to set it up. You want to stay as right as possible to set up for the last corner to get a better launch. And that is a lap of Barber.
There's a lot of talk about flat out in that lap, but I mean, this track is flat out dangerous. If you miss a marker or off by even a hair on your braking point or your entry point to some of these blind turns, it's going to be a wild one here tonight. Very excited to be able to showcase Barber Motorsports Park here on Turn 200. Well, tonight's coverage of the GoSquadra Formula Super Series on Turn 200 is presented by Joey Selmants Art. This is the Grand Prix of Birmingham presented by Joey Selmants Art. Of course, this is Motorsports Art. We've displayed it on the channel before. Follow Joey Selmants Motorsports Art at JSellArt on Instagram. It's a lot of great stuff here for sure. Love the use of color in a lot of these pieces. And again, that's at JSellArt. Link is in the description of the video. Go follow Joey Selmants Motorsports Art on Instagram. Tonight's coverage is also presented by 4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoe and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. And GoSquadra, the title sponsor of the Formula Super Series. GoSquadra's mission is to enhance race team management across all sim racing platforms. GoSquadra will connect drivers with teams, manage race events, create and edit stint schedules, enable easy stint adjustments on the fly during a live race, and much more. Coming soon, head over to GoSquadra.com. So that'll bring us into the live qualifying action here at Barber Motorsports Park. We promised some news at the top of the show, Mr. Matt Williamson. We'll get to that in just a second. But first of all, welcome to Barber Motorsports Park here in Central Alabama.
Yes, welcome indeed. It is our first race broadcasted at Barber Motorsports Park. As hard as that is to believe, that is factual. So it is great to be here looking at the spider on the hill at the moment. Good to see that young fella right there. And good to see a lot of the drivers here tonight as well. They are going to be putting on a show for us.
Absolutely. We've got, I think, 27 that are registered for the session. There's no bridge and no mannequin in this older scan of the track. Hopefully that gets updated someday. But here is the news. If you were joining us last week at the Homestead Miami Road Course, you will have seen João de Gregorio win the sprint race, and you would have seen Michael Costello take a feature victory. But that is not what the record book shows. Both drivers were disqualified. For Michael Costello, it was only for the feature. For João de Gregorio, he was disqualified from the entire event. The reasons why Michael Costello came to a stop in his pit box and didn't do anything. He did not put tires on. That is against the rules. So Costello was disqualified from the feature and the feature only. João de Gregorio has a pit start violation that he's needed to serve for multiple weeks now and has yet to do it. So that was supposed to happen at the beginning of the sprint race for the last couple of weeks. It has not happened. So as a result, he's disqualified from the entire event, and he'll have an additional pit lane start here tonight from not only the sprint race, but also for the feature. And that is a shame because João, after another pretty rough week for Titus Sherlock, although he is now credited with the sprint race victory, it was another early exit for Sherlock in last week's feature. And we don't have the points graphic to show you, but it is awfully tight now with just 3 nights of racing left to go this season. Titus Sherlock now is back in the points lead just by 7 markers ahead of a pretty tricky track here tonight at Barber Motorsports Park.
Yeah, pretty tricky indeed here, Tommy. It's very fast. There's 2 right-handers and a left-hander that I think are going to be the trouble spots. We'll point those out as the night rolls along here. But there are a lot of points at this track where you basically cannot be too wide. I mean, you can be if you probably want to wreck each other. So you don't want to be too wide in those positions. But it's so fast. I mean, there's some of these corners that they're supposed to be corners, and you actually really don't have to turn at all. You can just basically run straight through them. So we'll give you the lay of the land here as we continue on. But it's going to be an interesting night, as most of them have been here in the GoSquadra Formula Super Series.
So that does mean that Zach Buchanan got the win last week. It's his first career. I almost said Venom Truck Series. His first career GoSquadra Formula Super Series victory. So congrats to Zach Buchanan. He did some great burnouts for the driver that finished second last week. And it turns out those were the winning burnouts, and they were very good as well. So congrats to Zach. Hopefully he could translate that into a strong finish to this season. Just 3 races to go. Barber tonight. Next week is Detroit Belle Isle. We'll take a week off and then round it out at Road America, which is going to be an interesting closing stretch to a very interesting schedule with some fantastic racing results. Clock has struck 0 on qualifying. It is time to go. Racing here at Barber Motorsports Park for the 15-minute sprint race. And with the pole position, it is Mitch Welker. He needs a big night to claw his way back into the title conversation. He will lead the field into turn number 1 with Titus Sherlock, now the new points leader, starting back to his outside. Zach Buchanan, last week's feature winner, will start in 3rd with Hunter Engrav, who's 4th in the points entering tonight, starting in 4th on the starting grid. Jeff Groff ended up on the podium with the disqualifications last week. He starts in 5th next to Kevin Bonomi to his outside. Nate Siefker was in the top 5 last week. He'll start 7th. Byron Daly's back at the field tonight. He'll line up in 8th. It's João de Gregorio. He will have to start from the pits, and hopefully he remembers that he would start in 9th. Brett Hahn is your top AM on the grid in 10th. Then it's Zach Flam, Christian Jasper, Cody Claiborne, Nick Goyette, Christopher Hill way back in 15th. Brian Labarge, Dakota DeMay, Matt Johnston, Nick Fleury, and Kyle Allen, your top 20. 28 drivers signed in tonight at Barber Motorsports Park. Matt, what are the track conditions here in Alabama?
Taking a look at the weather, a little cloudy right now. 74 degrees is the track temperature, ambient temperature only 71. Wind gust up to 6, maybe 7 miles an hour. Not going to be too much to contend with here for the drivers. Also had a little word that one of the drivers may have partied a little too hard just a few miles away at the Talladega Superspeedway, and he was lost and ended up having to walk his way to the track here tonight. So we'll see if Nate Siefker can still put together a good finish.
It's always got to be Nate Siefker, isn't it? It's the one to make things interesting. But yeah, from 7th on the grid, we'll see what Siefker's got. I would imagine there will be a couple of pit lane starts here, as the law was laid down before qualifying tonight. Make sure you take tires. We're not going to let it slide from here on out. Grid is looking sparse, but the lights are coming on. The green flag is about to drop. Green flag, we're underway. Byron Daly off the grid slow. A couple of other drivers as well. So many drivers starting from pit lane. Oh, there's one off into the gravel.
That is Hunter Engrav, and he is not rolling.
No, he is waiting for the rest of the field to come on by. A couple of other drivers spinning there into turn number 1 as it's Mitch Welker and Zach Buchanan first and second. Headed up and down the hill and all around the twists and turns of Barber Motorsports Park.
Byron Daly nearly side by side with Flaum. They might be here into this right-hander, and Daly is going to end up taking it. I think Zach Flaum let him have that spot because he knew that they were going to be side by side. That is the one complex that you really don't want to be side by side.
So Daly back to where he started in P6. Brett Hahn, the top am right now, rounds out the top 5 as Cody Claiborne is a bit off the track there, coming into the final 3 turns of the circuit. But will still ride inside the top 10.
Sherlock makes the pass on Brian Labarge to get Sherlock up to 12th. Kevin Bonomi, João Di Gregorio trying to work their way through traffic here as well.
Sherlock, one of many drivers who started from the pits in this one. Remember, top 10 scored points and put themselves in the inverts as there's one off. It's Kyle Allen running in 14th.
Oh, and I think he hit the wall. Yep, that's going to be it for him here in the sprint race.
So Sherlock trying to score some points here. So is João Di Gregorio. He is back in 16th as he's got one spun around. Oh, and he is out. Big time contact there. Multiple drivers all get together. Di Gregorio, as well as Dave Patton and Kevin Bonomi.
Byron Daly trying to continue his march. He's caught right up to the back of Brett Hahn, and Hahn is around.
Oh, Hahn running in the top am position. Goes for a spin.
Just trying to get out of the racing surface. He's going to try and continue, I think, but that car looks pretty damaged.
Already proven to be a challenge here. Just 2.5 minutes into the sprint race. Welker maintaining a 1-second lead. Titus Sherlock with a pretty daring move there on Matt Johnston to move himself now into the top 10 firmly.
Yeah, and that right-hander is one of the trouble spots.
Byron Daly's around from 5th. He will plummet outside of the top 10.
This left-hander also one of the trouble spots here. Maybe the most difficult to get back into the throttle after you round the corner. I mean, you just start sliding across the racetrack, and you really have to try and catch it. But I think Daly might have actually spun on entry there, so maybe got in a little too hot.
Christian Jasper is towed back to the pits with a meatball flag. Problems for Drew White. He goes for a spin. Welker extending the advantage up front. Buchanan, Groff, Siefker, and Flaum the top 5.
Titus Sherlock stacked in with Flory and Goyette. Those 3 are 7th, 8th, and 9th. Sherlock has a run here on Flory. Should get it here into turn number 1, and he does. This right-hander downhill, very, very difficult. Then you have a little short stretch. Shift down all the way to 2nd here for the left-hander. Right here later in the race, maybe more so in the feature race when they're trying to get back in the throttle. That is very, very difficult to navigate. And this is that turn I was talking about earlier where you can basically go straight through it. 2 rights in a row, basically, even though it's really a right, left, right. You only really have to make 2 right-hand turns there.
Titus Sherlock catching Nick Goyette. They'll duke it out here for 7th. Sherlock will take a big run down the front stretch here.
Yeah, overtake is on for the 3-1-1, and he is going to get past Goyette. Did not want to waste any time.
Purple lap last time around from Mitch Welker, the race leader. 2 seconds the advantage back to Zach Buchanan. Buchanan hanging on to 2nd quite nicely as well, outpacing Jeff Groff in 3rd.
A couple of drivers did not start this race. Jesse Lacey and Griffin Yellen decided to not take the grid and did not come out of the pits.
Yeah, I think they are maybe done for the night. This is going to be a tough one here tonight, that is for sure.
It's not a super difficult track to drive, but it is very difficult to go fast.
It's difficult in this car. It's a little bit too long and wide and a little bit too powerful.
Whoa, there's a dive to the inside. That is Johnston trying to make this pass, and he's not able to.
Oh, Brian LaBarge and Byron Daly both with issues. LaBarge stuck in the sand trap, and he will tow back to the pits. Right now, it's Cody Claiborne, top AM in P6. But he's got his hands full with Titus Sherlock.
Claiborne, I'm sure, does not want to give this spot away, but when you have someone like Titus Sherlock behind you, you might not want to push it too hard. And Claiborne nearly did. He got pretty loose there through the right-hander. Sherlock goes through on the final corner.
Christopher Hill has moved into the invert now, so he gets past Nick Fleury. Sherlock on the march forward. Byron Daly will come down pit road, I would imagine, with some damage after a couple of spins here in the sprint. Another purple lap last time around for Mitch Welker. He'll hit the line again this time. And about a 10th off of the purple lap. So he's still moving and shaking as, Michael Costello was just off the track and is now side by side with Nick Fleury. This is just outside of the invert as Costello has to run a bit wide there. Slingshot there to take that spot away. Christopher Hill and Matt Johnston nose to tail here for 9th. And Tanner DeFabis there as well. First mention of driver number 9 here tonight.
Yeah, DeFabis, great entry into that tight left-hand turn. He was able to really close the gap on Hill as Hill was able to really close the gap on Johnston, and it was nearly too close.
Michael Costello just turned to purple sector. And Mitch Welker will go purple overall at the line. 5.55 left to go. Here's Hill shooting to the inside. And now DeFabis trying to answer right away. It might be a 2-spot swing here for Matt Johnston, and it will be.
Great stuff here in the middle of the pack. All sprint race long so far. 10 minutes up. 5 to go as DeFabis tried to take a lunge there.
Ahead of them, Cody Claiborne just ran wide. It allowed Nick Goyette to move through to 7th. Claiborne not too far ahead of this battle. Still is top AM. These laps are just over a minute here. As Titus Sherlock will go with the purple lap this time in 6th, trying to track down Zach Flaum to move into the top 5.
Favis overtake on a huge lunge to the inside.
Very tidy in one of the trickiest corners on the circuit. Will take spot number 9 away, at least for now. He'll move out of line, but will not pull the trigger.
Costello just got through on Matt Johnston as well to get to 11th.
And Goyette and Claiborne are right in front of this group, so we've got about 5 cars within a second and a half or so of one another, maybe 2 seconds. 3.5 minutes left to go here in the sprint. It's all Welker up front. Claiborne nearly piled into the back of Goyette there. Well, this is quite the train queuing up. Keep our eyes on Zach Flaum and Titus Sherlock here as well, as they are tightening up for 5th. Purple lap for Mitch Welker at the front.
Favis to the inside of Claiborne here. Claiborne trying to fight. Still even. Not anymore. DeFavis gets it. Christopher Hill's up next. And Costello might get a 2-for-1 here. Outside there is not a great spot as Hill and Claiborne may have made some contact there. Whoa!
That was awful. Whoa!
Oh, I thought they were going to lock wheels. Oh, no! Hill loses the front wing, and he's around. Oh, more contact.
That's Nick Fleury.
Oh.
Whoops.
Well, that's what happens when you're side by side through those couple of corners there.
Definitely. Sherlock has not found a way through here on Zach Flaum yet. Flaum playing good defense. Well, 2 laps to go. It's Hill and Fleury tow back to the pits. So now DeFabis closing in on Nick Goyette for 7th. Michael Costello and Cody Claiborne are right together for 9th. Battle for 5th here as well. The top 3 are all about that are nailed down in 4th place as well. Nate Siefker. White flag for Mitch Welker, another purple lap for the sprint race leader. Sherlock eyeing up a move here. Not going to have enough time.
I'm sure overtake probably on for both of these drivers at this point.
Sherlock is itching to get through here. He'll take himself to the outside here.
Oh, he actually inched out ahead as well, but Flaum was able to hold even, but not any longer. Sherlock up to 5th.
There are a couple of corners in this circuit that you don't want to be right on those rumble strips, which is where Flaum found himself. Sherlock was able to get a good run around the outside of the turn and moves himself into the top 5 here with a couple of corners left to go. Up front, Mitch Welker rounds turn number 16, and we'll see the sprint checkered flag. Welker takes the sprint here at Barber Motorsports Park. Zach Buchanan, nice follow-up to the feature win last week. He will finish in second. Jeff Groff, nice follow-up to his feature podium last week. He will take third. Nate Siefker in fourth. Titus Sherlock, P5. Other inverters, Flaum in 6th, Goyette in 7th, DeFabus in 8th. Top AM, Cody Claiborne will get some points to try and rally himself back into the 4D Raceware Amateur Standings title. He finishes in 9th, and Michael Costello will be on the pole for tonight's feature.
See if we can get a quick replay here.
I don't think they're going to.
This is incident for... nope.
Yep.
Almost got it in there.
Well, that gives us some time now because somebody forgot to put a video package together once again. For the folks that are watching and hanging out with us, drop us a chat, say hello. Let us know what you thought of that race. Matt Williamson, let us know what you thought of that race.
I mean, honestly, that was a little bit of what I expected. Lots of incidents. Although I wasn't sure I would really see much contact there in the sprint race, which we didn't see a whole lot of until the Christopher Hill situation that happened there late in the race. I mean, the João de Gregorio incident was really just a spin in front of him and nowhere to go. It wasn't really any major contact with the car or anything like that. So, also going to be re-downloading paints. Some of them loaded, some of them did not. So we're going to work on that while we're here at the break as well. Not sure what's happening on that front, but this track is just, it's difficult. It's difficult in this car. Like you mentioned earlier, Tommy, it's just a long wheelbase, lots of power. It makes it very difficult to exit these corners and really get the power down to the ground.
Well, that's what Matt Williamson thinks. Let's see what our sprint race winner thinks. Mitch Welker will take the first checkered flag of the night here at Barber Motorsports Park. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Congrats on taking the sprint win.
Thanks. Yeah, that was nice and clean. Not a problem there. I love this track.
It helps, I think, to be unopposed at the front of the grid as well. But, I mean, this is, especially, it seems like for this car in particular, this is a very difficult track with a lot of undulation and tight turning radiuses as well.
Yeah, it seems to be catching a lot of people out. It's hard to stay consistent, especially when there's so many blind apexes and difficult braking zones. You're thinking about the especially the last half of the lap there. But no, I did some running before the official session opened, got myself dialed in, and I think that's really important for this place. And you know, it shows when you really prepare and figure out how to run it, you do well here.
Matt, what do you got for the sprint winner?
Yeah, congrats on a good run there in the sprint. This is not a very long racetrack, so there is going to be plenty of lap traffic that you're probably going to have to work your way through the race here coming up in the feature. How are you planning to navigate the lap traffic?
I mean, you do what you can. It's no different than any other place. You hope that if they're not battling, then they kind of shuffle over for you, but you know, they're not required to, so if they don't, then you make safe moves, especially if you're in my position and you're running for a championship. You need to take the points and not having any issues. So just find clean places to pass and just be methodical about it. That's all I can go in with.
A lot of patience and yeah, be methodical here. That's a great outlook to have heading into the feature here. Shout outs for you before we let you go.
Yeah, shout out to Zach. Good run for him too. That's a 1-2 for the team, and that's really important for our team points battle. I think we just took the lead after Miami following those disqualifications, so being able to extend that lead tonight would be awesome.
Absolutely, partner. Best of luck in the feature. Hopefully we're talking to you again after that one.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks.
Alrighty, so that is the word from Mitch Welker. And yes, Mitch, unfortunately, he got taken out actually by Titus Sherlock in last week's feature. He dropped down to, I think, about 34 points behind. It's whatever the number is on the bottom ticker there, is how far he is behind entering tonight's event. He just picked up some points on Titus, picked up a bunch of points on Jaude Gregorio, who will have scored a big fat goose egg there. So Mitch needing some good runs here, and that is a great way to start off the night here at Barber, but his job is not done yet. He'll have to start 10th here coming up in the feature race, and that is, I mean, with how many folks we had not on the starting grid for the sprint, I would imagine most of them will be on the grid for the feature, save for Jaude Gregorio, but this could get messy into turn number 1.
Yeah, I mean, turn number 1 is a little bit wider than most of the rest of the track, so I mean, they do have that going for them. It's also not a super slow down point. You can carry a lot of speed through turn number 1 as well, so I don't think it's the most difficult that we've seen this season by any stretch of the imagination, but I think in this series with this car, it is always possible to wad it up into any turn 1.
Well, I think it's maybe more inviting because you think you can carry some speed into there, and then maybe you can't carry as much as you think you're going to want to on the first corner. That's what happened to Hunter Engrav, an unfortunate segue. Hello to Pamela Engrav that's hanging out in the chat with us. Hopefully this race goes much better for Hunter than the sprint did, that's for sure. I'm sure there are a lot of drivers that are hoping out there, maybe against hope, that this feature tonight will be cleaner than the one that they, or the sprint that they just had. Something tells me it may not, but 40 minutes will go on the clock here shortly. I want to remind everybody that tonight's race is sponsored by Joey Selmants Motorsports Art. If you're on Instagram, check the handle in the description of this video. I believe it's JSellArt, and get some good viewing, great use of color, and it's cars. You gotta love that. So thank you to Joey Selmants for sponsoring tonight's Grand Prix of Birmingham. We got some stuff coming up here this week. Tomorrow night, we're just down the road at Talladega Superspeedway for the Venom Truck Series Chase. It's round number 3 of 5 for the Chase. Hunter Engrav will also be in that fight. And it's Talladega. With the Venom Truck Series, there's always something memeable or incredible that happens whenever Venom rolls into Dega. So that'll be there tomorrow night, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Wednesday night, the ASRL Sports Car Championship is back. And for the first time in series history, it's LMP2s and GT3s rather than the GT3s and 4s like we had last season. So they will kick things off at Road Atlanta Wednesday night at about 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll hope you'll join us for the ASRL Limited Signs and Graphics Sports Car Championship Season number 3 here on Turn 200. And then Thursday night, it is the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series round number 2 playoff cutoff race from the Milwaukee Mile. Yep, we're subbing out the Roval for the Milwaukee Mile for the trucks. That will be at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and that is going to be an interesting night of racing as well. And we'll send 4 more drivers packing in the Max V playoffs. Got about 30 seconds, Matt, here. Anything else in particular you're looking forward to with the grid all re-racked?
I can tell you this: I'm looking forward to going to the Buc-ee's in between here and Talladega after this one's over. But looking forward to seeing who's able to make it through the first lap. I think it's always telling how the race is going to play out after that first lap is over, because pretty much anything can and probably will happen once we take the green flag. So you got to be careful. You have to be methodical, by the wise words of Mitch Welker.
We just had a blowover on pit road. Hopefully there will be no more of that. But the checkers are out here for the warm-up, and it is about time to go feature racing here tonight. The Grand Prix of Birmingham, presented by Joey Selmants Art, is about to get underway. Starting lineup will look like this with the top 10 invert. It's Michael Costello and Cody Claiborne on the front row, Tanner DeFavis, Nick Goyetta on row 2, Zach Flaum, Titus Sherlock on row 3, Nate Siefker, Jeff Groff on row 4, and Zach Buchanan and Mitch Welker, teammates, on the 5th row. Matt Johnston and Hunter Engrav on row 6, Dakota DeMay, JJ Wang on row 7, Dan Miglin and Drew White on row 8, Christopher Hill and Nick Fleury back on row 9, and your top 20s rounded out by Byron Daly. 26 drivers scheduled to take the grid. Matt Williamson, quickly, weather conditions.
Yeah, it's a little bit sunnier here. Track temperature, that is quite a bit higher, 94 degrees now as we start the feature race. So drivers might have a little bit more warmth in the tires a little bit earlier as we get going here. We have 40-minute feature coming up for you here. 17X is a drive-through penalty, 25X is a disqualification. 200 seconds of overtake as always in both the sprint and the feature here. No faster pairs. That's a biggie.
We watch it for João de Gregorio back in 23rd on the starting grid as the lights go from red to green and the green flag is out. Sluggish start there for somebody as there's problems already. Safety. Oh, that could have been a lot worse. Tanner DeFabis, I think, is going to get the worst of it.
Sherlock is one of them.
Byron Daly goes for a spin as well. Zach Flaum there stopped in turn number 1. Sherlock may be out of it already again. I think it was Nate Siefker slow off the line there that really got those guys wadded up into turn 1. We'll take a look at it here shortly as Costello continuing to lead Claiborne, and now Mitch Welker's gotten up to 3rd here. Way to escape the chaos.
Johnston tried to make a move on Nate Siefker. Wow, we are really wadded up right in the middle of the top 10 here.
Tough place to be side by side as Cody Claiborne from 2nd went off wide into turn number 1. Now it's Mitch Welker right behind him.
Welker has the opportunity to maybe be even more patient than he otherwise would have been after. Oh! Trouble! Hunter Engrav's around! Excuse me, that's Tanner DeFabis.
DeFabis and Drew White. Looked like somebody got hit from behind. I believe it would have been DeFabis. Tough go-around for DeFabis.
Engrav is still moving, but I'm not sure if he got any damage off of that. He was right there in the mix.
He's gone from 6th down to, I believe, 11th. As Mitch Welker is through on Cody Claiborne for 2nd. Problems for Christopher Hill inside the top 10.
And that is probably the end of the day there for Hill. He looks pretty rough.
Yeah. Sands the left rear tire. As Zach Buchanan going to go around the outside into turn number 2 to take 3rd away from Claiborne.
And Hunter Engrav is dropping like a rock. He has major damage here.
Brian the Barge with a problem.
Boy, oh boy. We're only 3 minutes into this race.
This race has not been kind. Not quite Chicago street levels of destruction yet, but... Oh, problems for JJ Wang in 7th. Speaking of Chicago street, he goes for a spin.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a risky place to pull back across the track. All right, so Welker in some cleaner air. He's got a 2.5 seconds to catch up to Michael Costello, who just ran the purple lap, but not to be outdone. Welker will steal it from him. Christian Jasper, Kevin Minomi pitting with damage. Again, required pit stop after lap 10. And you must take tires. In fact, that's about the only thing that you can do with a fixed setup. Jeff Groff making a move on Dan Miglin to take 8th away. Cody Claiborne still hanging on to top AM in P4.
JJ Wang to the inside of Kyle Allen. Allen trying to fight back here, but JJ's going to take the spot. Good move by Allen to let him through.
Jowdy Gregorio has evaded all the chaos thus far. He is running in 12th, and he is turning purple sectors on this lap in his pursuit of Nick Fleury and Dakota DeMade. Welker in second has cut that 1.5 gap down to a second and turned the purple lap to boot. Oh, Drew White has crashed! Oh, right in the middle of the field. And I think somebody net-coded into his Ghost and would have picked up some serious damage.
I think it's either Buchanan or Buchanan may have just dropped out of the race.
Yeah, Buchanan is lagged out of the race, I do believe, because he would have been well ahead of Drew White. Yeah, Buchanan is lagged out in 3rd, as Welker now inside of a 2nd for Costello. That's so unfortunate. You just heard Mitch talking about the team championship and how well Buchanan did last week, picking up the win. They were running 2nd and 3rd, but not anymore. We'll wait to see how this battle for the lead shakes out, and then we'll have to go back and take a look at some of the lap 1 and 2 chaos.
There's plenty of it, trust me.
Yes. We'll be on replays for a good couple of minutes.
I think every week we have a montage of the first couple laps and everything that's happened. Matt Johnston pulling up to Nate Siefker here for 4th.
Costello's gotten on the burners here. He's started to mitigate the gap as there goes Johnston through on Siefker to take 4th away.
Let's take a look at the incident between Flaum and Titus Sherlock. Oh, and Siefker there on the inside takes somebody out, and Sherlock is the one that comes in here right at the end, and we're just going to go ahead and jump back to it as Welker has closed the gap in a hurry.
Welker on the power here, down the hill, looking for a way through.
Oh!
Ooh! It doesn't get much closer than that.
No, it does not. I don't think you can fit a piece of paper in between those two bumpers.
I don't think so. This is shaping up to be the exact night that Mitch Welker needs, as long as he can keep it on the pavement for the next 31 minutes. Jowdy Gregorio, meanwhile, making a pass on Dakota DeMade for 9th.
And that's just it with Sherlock out of the race now. I mean, this is prime for Welker and Zhao to either make up the gap or leapfrog Sherlock here. I don't know if it's possible for Welker, but certainly could be possible for Jowdy Gregorio.
He might have done it just based on his result here with however many cars are left running. Sherlock would have picked up 6 points in the sprint to extend the lead to 13, but I'm not too sure that Zhao doesn't have that beat already. Welker, meanwhile, came into the night 34 behind and picked up an extra 4 points in the sprint and going to pick up a lot more here. Or
Yeah,
looking to, anyway.
Yeah, it'll be close if Welker may be able to get in front of Sherlock as well, but that one's going to be a little bit closer than Zhao.
Zhao has quite a bit of time to catch up to this train behind for fourth, as here goes Mitch Welker around the outside of Costello, letting him know he's there, if he didn't get the memo already. Maybe trying to force Costello into a mistake here. He will pull up right behind down the hill. And unfortunately, Christian Jasper is just disconnected from the session. So, very sorry to Leighton Lewis.
Oh, and there's Zach Buchanan. Internet dropped out.
Yep. That's very unfortunate.
It had another good run going.
Can Welker get it done? Now back up the hill. Little twitch there from Costello. Oh, and there's contact. Costello getting the elbows out. Jeff Groff gets past Nick Goyette for sixth.
And to John K., that's tomorrow night. We're going to be just up the road.
Indeed, Talladega for the Venom Truck Series. We'll hope to see you there. We've had some Talladega-like carnage the last few weeks here in the GoSquadra Formula Super Series. Similar to Talladega, some great racing here as well. Costello doing pretty well for himself, some contact, but he's keeping Welker behind him. It is lap number 11, and Nate Siefker is going to be the first driver onto pit road here from fifth. So the pit window's open.
Open a lot earlier today than it normally is with the shorter track here. Nick Flory right in the heat of battle here as Dakota DeMade and Dan Miglin are battling behind and also trying to get through to 8th. Welker said that he was going to be methodical, and this is certainly methodical. He hasn't really taken any desperate moves, hasn't been in a rush, just trying to force a mistake. See, he gets a little bit too close.
It will pit from 6, yeah. Definitely trying to force a mistake, and that is about as methodical as you could get for somebody that fast. Well, again, he'll try this move on the outside.
I just about lagged out of the session here.
Oh, boy. Don't do that.
And because of that, on my sim, it is showing Mitch Welker's tires just dangling from his car. So this is going to look quite goofy for potentially the rest of the race, or at least until he comes down pit road.
Man. Well,
I promise his tires are actually attached.
I'll tell you when his tires become detached. Hopefully they don't. But, I mean, he is absolutely hounded Michael Costello for the lead. So tough to try and execute a pass. Costello out a bit wider this time, but still holds the bottom enough to shut the door on Welker. DeMade is down pit road. Hello to Pivot, cheering on JJ Wang. Hello to Jeff Mathis as well.
That's exactly what that looked like. But the wheels are now attached again.
That's good.
They have sewn themselves back onto the car. Here comes Jeff Groff trying to make a move on Matt Johnston for fourth. João Di Gregorio not too far behind here either, and Groff is going to come down pit road. Lots of early pit stops here, Tommy.
Yes, indeed. The undercut may be the way to go, as there's Welker trying to undercut into the tight left-hander. Can't quite get it done. Looking for any opening that he can find. You saw a replay of the accident a moment ago. Why don't we have a word? He's been released from the care center. Zach Flaum is with us. Early exit from this one after a pretty good run there in the sprint for you. What happened?
Yeah, I think I kind of just caught up in a couple other guys' misfortune there, but it was a bummer, but that's racing sometimes. Like I said, I just tried following Cody around the outside, and a second later, and I had a left rear take it off, so it was flying into the catch fence.
That certainly is not ideal. Thanks for the time here tonight, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week at Belle Isle.
Yeah, hopefully in better circumstances.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Just like that, Welker is back on the attack. Thanks to Zach Flaum for the time, as always. He'll go out to the right here once again. Right there, wheel to wheel. Ideally, he'd love to undercut on the power there, but Costello just holds it so tidily down the bottom. There's a move to the left, and he shuts the door. Haven't seen that one yet. Oh, Dan Miglin has crashed. He was inside the top 10, and he is towed back to the pits.
Welker gets these big runs, but it's at points on the racetrack that there's just not a great place to try and complete a pass. And Costello has been very aggressive in trying to keep this position as well. So Welker does not want to jeopardize a great finish, even if he doesn't win this race, for contact with Costello to maybe take him out of this one. That's the last thing that he needs.
Spin for Nick Goyette. He'll lose a couple of positions.
João Di Gregorio trying to get to the inside of Johnston. Very close. Not able to get it done.
Here's the move out left for both. Ooh. That straightaway is not getting any wider. But they're driving it wider.
They are going to be in the grass here before too long.
There is one more trick up the sleeve, potentially, if Mitch Welker can't find a way through on Costello on the track. No, I'm not suggesting that he bail it off into the grass or the sand. You know, the undercut.
Road. Yes, sir. I was understanding. Or does he just try and stay out longer than Costello and go for the overcut? That is a very popular strategy here as well, as here comes João Di Gregorio trying to split this one nearly in half.
He's had a great run up through the field, started 21st, looking to score big points, and be sure that he walks away with a points lead after it's all said and done tonight. Hello to Joshua Matichek. Hello to Christian Jasper. Problems for Dave Patton. He has gone around. Couldn't tell if he was trying to get into pit road or just ran it wide through the last turn.
Gals come out right behind Jeff Groff, and here
Here
comes
goes
Mitch
Mitch.
Welker.
Going for the undercut. He had turned a purple sector there in the middle of this lap. He might have enough pace. We'll have to see what Costello likes to do. Costello waited. Or actually, Costello came in early after an internet blip, but again, he also didn't take tires and was disqualified. So he'll have to remember to do that this time. Heard somebody off in the grass. I'm not too sure it wasn't Nate Siefker, but he doesn't seem to be losing any time to Nick Goyette in front. And there he goes off the grass again. Man. Thought maybe these guys would tiptoe a little bit more given the tight confines, but now they are pushing hard.
There's just so much grip with this car. I mean, you just feel like you can really carry a ton of speed through these corners, which you can, to be fair, but I mean, it is on the ragged edge.
Here's Costello in to answer one lap after Mitch Welker. So this should give control of the race to your top AM at the moment, Cody Claiborne. Running a very nice race.
Welker now to the final corner. Costello is going to be out in front by a pretty decent margin here.
Wow. But he'll have to warm these tires up. So will Welker be able to close that gap? I am a bit surprised.
And João Di Gregorio getting held up a little bit here, has not been able to get past Groff. They've both caught Kyle Allen. Groff going to get to the inside of Allen here. And Di Gregorio is going to get through here as well. Monachek, the wonderful painter he is, admiring some of the paint schemes here. There are lots of good ones in this series.
We're blessed with good painters and good paint schemes and good liveries on the channel, that's for sure. So, Welker well behind Costello. Just want to say, for the record, I watched the jack go up and drop on Michael Costello's car. Shouldn't be any controversy about that this time around. I think the driver that I'm interested to see here would be Kevin Bonomi, where he ends up at the end of this one. He's turned 2 purple laps since the pit cycle started. So he has found his pace and found the pace overall.
Yeah, unfortunately for Kevin, he is going to have to come down pit road again here, because he did come in for damage early on.
Matt Johnston is in from second. Nick Fleury will pit as well. And Johnston, I was going to say, he ran it wide into the pit entry. I'm not too sure. He didn't clip one of the barriers there as well. So he has a meatball flag.
Yeah, it looked like a piece of the car was hanging off the left side there.
He ran it wide into the grass. I'm not sure where the wall starts on the left side of pit entry, but yeah, missing the left front tire. So that's going to take him out of another potential top 5 run after a podium last week at Homestead.
Mitch Welker gets through on J.J. Wang. Wang still has to come down pit road here.
So it's just a couple car length gap between Costello and Welker when Welker triggered the undercut, and now it is nearly 4 seconds. Granted, Welker's had to work through some traffic, whereas Costello really has not. But Costello definitely won that with just staying out 1 lap longer.
Wow, that was close. Groff nearly got into the back of a lapper there. Had to make an evasive maneuver.
And
he has João de Gregorio all over him.
Yes. João with a lunge will take the spot away. So move him up to P6.
Taking him a long time to get that one done, but finally has some clear track ahead of him. Able to set his sights on currently Brian Labarge, but Labarge and J.J. Wang still have to come down pit road, so theoretically it would be Mitch Welker the next in line.
So we'll see where Cody Claiborne comes out in the wash here. That would either put João in third or fourth, and would put put Claiborne as the top am. Pretty handily, Kyle Allen in P9 is the next up. And Allen is pitting right now. Nate Siefker is around and off the track, so he will drop out of the top 10. De Gregorio, purple lap. Welker eating into this gap once again, was about 0.8 of a second quicker last lap by. So it's back under 3 seconds. Well, we talked about the speed of Kevin Bonomi, and all of a sudden he has ran off the track and pounded the barriers. He is out. That was a hard hit.
Not a lot of battles on the racetrack now. Might be a decent time to take a look at a couple of incidents that have occurred here. This is another look at the opening incident where Siefker kind of got ran down into the grass. Contact was made. There's the contact with Flaum. And then Sherlock comes barreling in there as well. That is what ended Sherlock's night in the first corner. Byron Daly with problems here as well. Right in the middle, he has contact. He gets sent out to the outside gravel trap. That is in turn 2. Here was the incident that Engrav and DeFavis had. That's a lunge to the inside for DeFavis, and then Engrav got into the back of him, trying to get back into the throttle. Drew White was around right there as well. Not sure which off track this is for Hill. I don't think this is his big one. Oh, and I take that back. This is his big one. Backs it hard into the outside wall there. That is a night ender for Hill. Those are some of the big incidents here in the first couple of laps of this feature race.
So waiting pit stops for Claiborne, Wang, and Labarge, and potentially a couple of others, but those three run inside the top 5. Claiborne paces the field. Welker is catching Michael Costello. It's down to a 1.5 seconds.
But we know what happened last time Welker caught Costello. Could not find a way around. Would he be more desperate this time late in the race?
Yes.
Methodical, Tommy. Methodical.
Yeah, I'm methodically watching the minutes and seconds tick away off the scoreboard here. Here's Claiborne in from the lead.
And Joao Di Gregorio just got past Brian Labarge. So Di Gregorio is going to move up to 4th for now. Unless Claiborne comes out in front, potentially.
We'll see if he does. Here comes Labarge. JJ Wang's still yet to pit in 3rd.
I
and
think
Di
Joao is
Gregorio
going to get it. Yep.
Yep. So Claiborne will drop. He'll be a couple of positions ahead of Nick Fleury, but I don't think they'll be too awfully close on the track. So top aim is Claiborne's to lose at this moment in time. It's very possible here, though, on cold tires, for this car to slip away from Claiborne.
Big purple lap for Mitch Welker the last time around. He has pulled within 0.7 of a second to the leader.
Same song and dance as before. But will it end differently? Welker arrives on the scene. A 4-second lead erased for Costello.
Should these two battle hard for the rest of this event, how close can Joao Di Gregorio get?
It's about 15 seconds behind right now. He's on a pretty similar pace to the leaders. Welker again, stymied like he was earlier. Lap traffic, like you asked him, will play a factor here. This is going to be crucial.
Yeah, not as much as maybe was once possible. Only about half the cars left on the racetrack that initially started.
Costello did not get great drive off there. Welker, I'm sure, going to take a peek here to the left side. Oh, and he has to jam on the brakes there.
Whoa!
Wow.
Nearly got into the back of Costello there.
It was one move for Costello. One might argue that it was a bit late.
Well, we saw that one a couple times in their battle earlier on in the race as well, but that one might have been the closest yet.
Kyle Allen moving out of the way. Very gracious. We'll continue on. As Costello tries to fend off Mitch Welker for the next 7 minutes. He held him off for the better part of 10 minutes earlier. But can he do it again?
With these two battling, Chow was 1.3 seconds faster the last lap, but is running out of time.
Certainly, he needs seconds, not tenths. There's every chance that these two ended up wadded out. Very different lines into 15. Costello went long into turn 1. Welker's got good drive here. He'll, I'm sure, take a look out here to the right.
Overtake is on. He's going to try and go outside in. Shuts the door. Costello does.
Costello's got that move figured out. DiGregorio, purple lap. He's made up about 2 seconds, but he's still way behind. 5 to go. 5 minutes, excuse me, that is.
Well, that might be roughly about 5 laps as well. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it'll be pretty close. Costello with the dragon down the front stretch just a little bit. Welker right there.
Welker's going to try and get creative here at the end of this one. He's thrown a lot at Costello. He's going to try and come up with a couple more moves.
I know he said methodical, but I'm sure he is frustrated at this point. If he could just get side by side down a straight. Costello up front, starting to lock the tires a bit. He is pushing hard, braking hard, trying to stay as far to the inside of the corners as possible. Got a lot of curb there. JJ Wang will pit from third. So move DiGregorio back onto the podium. Costello again with some lockup and a wiggle. Welker may have a run. A preemptive move to the left of the straightaway.
Costello is really comfortable to just let Mitch get to the outside there through that left-hander. Knows that he generally gets a pretty good drive off on the inside and can get back out in front.
So far, these two have only made contact one time as Costello really left the door open there. But gets great drive off of 16. Two and a half minutes left to go. Should be about 3 laps. Should it all go wrong, DiGregorio is 12 seconds behind. Cody Claiborne right now in the top amp position in 5th. That's a snapshot of where we are with 2 minutes to go. As all eyes are on Welker chasing Costello. Two laps to go. Lapped car ahead. It's the 14 of Brian Labarge. Still out wider that time.
A little bit of a wiggle on exit. Welker has a run! Oh, my.
Thought maybe he was going to fake right. Not enough time. Opportunities are dwindling for Mitch Welker. When is it time to stop being methodical? When is it time to push the issue?
Oh, he's done. He's really throwing it at him right now.
One more lap to go. Can Costello survive the onslaught?
A little bit of a lockup there. Welker really pushing it nearly out into the grass.
We'll have to go out to the right once again. Looking for any way through. Good drive off here for Welker. He'll go to the left. Costello to pinch. Welker doesn't lift. Lock up for Costello. Time's running out.
Contact!
Oh!
Welker
Big
shoved to
contact!
the inside.
Welker locks it down. Costello unperturbed up front. Tonight's finally the night. After getting disqualified last week, Michael Costello will survive everything that Mitch Welker threw at him here to take the Grand Prix of Birmingham. Welker will finish in second, leaving it all out on the track. João de Gregorio will round out an improbable podium from the 21st starting position. After we see the celebration here from Costello, who will be on the top step once again tonight, he should be able to keep it. We'll have to take a look back there at where that track tightened up, who moved, or maybe more crucially, who didn't.
That was effectively Welker's last chance there. I mean, he might have had one more opportunity into the second to last corner, but the last corner is very difficult to make any move in. So he had to try and go for broke. Didn't wreck himself either. That is maybe the most important thing.
He got them elbows out tonight, that's for sure. What a drive for Michael Costello. All right, let's take a look at it.
I have to back this up. Let's go ahead. Coming out of the corner, Welker has a good run. Pulls off to the right side. Costello trying to squeeze a little bit, but also has a left-hander coming up, so trying to get good entry into that one as well. But side by side into that corner just is maybe never going to work. Wheel-to-wheel contact for the two of them, and Welker and Costello nearly came back together again as Welker was coming up back onto the racing surface. And again, that was maybe Welker's final chance. May have had one chance into the penultimate corner, but I think that was the run he had, and he had to take it. Just did not quite pay off.
Well, let's give you the full finishing rundown here, as that was quite the onslaught there for Costello, but well survived. He will take the victory here tonight Mitch Welker will finish in second. Jowdy Gregorio in third. Jeff Groff, Cody Claiborne, your top AM there in P5. We'll talk to him here in just a second as well. Sixth for J.J. Wang, seventh for Nick Goyette, Nick Fleury in eighth. It is Dakota Domain and Brett Hahn to round out the top 10. Brian LaBarge will finish in 11th, last driver on the lead lap. Kyle Allen will finish one down to 12th. Dave Patton is the last driver running in 13th. That's almost what we saw at Chicago Street, and I did not have this pegged as quite as of a destructive night as the Chicago Street race, but I would have been wrong. So DNFs from here on out. Nate Siefker, Kevin Bonomi, Matt Johnston, Dan Magling, Tanner DeFavis, Zach Buchanan, Drew White, Christian Jasper, Hunter Engrav, Christopher Hill, Titus Sherlock. Man, he just cannot catch a break of late. Zach Flaum, Byron Daly are 26 drivers that started at any point here tonight. So we'll pull in your 40 Racewear top AM of the night. It's Cody Claiborne with a very good fifth place run. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This was a tough one here tonight, but you started up front, stayed up front, led some laps here. Pretty clean night.
Yeah, I really needed this. Things kind of just aligned and ended in a good result.
You've got a rally here to get yourself back into the AM standings. How are we feeling headed into next week at Belle Isle, but also Roan America to close this one out?
It's two tracks that I really like, so I'm hoping it'll turn out well, but I did just buy this track today, so that might not work out for me.
Well, I mean, for buying this track here tonight, you look pretty sporty around it. So congrats, shout-outs for you.
Yeah, big shout-out to Team Mendoza-Line, and a big shout-out to Zach for being crew chief for this race. It really, really helped.
All right, partner. We'll hopefully talk to you again next week.
Yep, thank you.
Why am I can't drag all of a sudden? Did I lose my dragging privileges? There we go. That was so weird. Okay. Well, I hate to interrupt Zhao's live stream, but we're going to bring him into booth 200 here. It was a great drive for your reigning series champion, Jowdy Gregorio. Will finish in third once again here tonight. Congratulations on a really strong run tonight.
Hi guys. This one was very, very, very tough. I had a contact on the first race, so that ruined the points for today. But on the second race, I just decided to go like beast mode, and somehow that worked, but I'm tired as hell. If you look from my lap 22 to my lap 35, I was like on the same pace, like 2/10 off for more or less. So it was like doing 20 qualifying laps at once. So it's even difficult to think to answer you in English because it's not my native language, but it's very, very difficult one. But I was happy because mentally and pace was very, very, very strong at the end of the race. I was doing like flying laps. I had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 laps at 6.1 consecutive laps. So that was very, very strong. And that's it. I don't know how the championship went, but I had a mistake on Homestead that cost me like a DQ from the race, so championship might be a mess right now. Next one is Detroit. I love street circuits, and let's see what I can do there. But that's it. Just say a huge thank to Pro Racing Simuladores, to CND Racing, to Supernova, and just a huge kiss to my fiancée.
The championship is definitely very messy right now. Matt, do you have a question?
Congrats on the great run. I mean, this is a great rebound here for you. How do you focus up for the feature race with kind of all the outside noise that was going on with the DQ from last week and the contact there in the sprint? How do you focus up for a feature?
I don't know. I just like stay head down and try to put some laps. Try to maximize my to not lose some time, to maximize my free track time. So I was very aggressive on this one. And since I got I think was Jeff Groff, I just overtook him on lap 21. So lap 22 from 36, it was like qualifying mode to try to get, because if somebody on the front touch or spin, it was like almost a free position. So just stay head down and try to focus. And it was a very, very strange something that I had on lap 35. I don't know if it was my head or if it was the simulator, but on the chicane hairpin, that you have like the three-handed, the three legs chicane and the hairpin. I was starting to listen to birds singing on the tree, and I was, man, it is my head messing with me, or the birds are really there, And I don't know if they are there. I would just check on the replay, but I think I think my mind was very, very tired by the end of the race.
I think so, partner. Congrats on a strong run here tonight, and hopefully we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you. See ya.
We'll have somebody investigate whether there are birds sitting there in turns 7, 8, and 9. In the meantime, we'll bring up Mitch Welker, your second place finisher here tonight. Man, gave it everything you had here after the sprint win. A strong P2 finish. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Well, I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, you threw everything you had at Costello there, and very aggressive offense and defense from both sides of the fence there.
Yeah, he drives like an immature punk. I'm sick of it. I've been dealing with it all season. He and sometimes Titus too. I mean, Titus less so. I've had good races with him, but Costello just races like he doesn't have a head on his shoulders. Early in the race, he like brake checked me down in the chicane and gave me wing damage. I caught back up, and on that last lap, I was very fully alongside for that move, and he just didn't turn in. So, I'm just tired of it. I'm fighting for a championship here, and I'm being legit. I've only raced everybody clean, and I'm not getting it reciprocated, and I'm just sick of it.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, congrats still on a great run, but certainly has to be extremely frustrating. I mean, you were behind Michael pretty much all night here tonight. You had a great first lap to get yourself into that position, but I mean, you had the bigger picture in your mind, I'm sure, as you were behind him, trying not to make any mistakes, trying to get by him. I mean, how frustrating, how difficult is it to kind of keep that in mind while you're trying to get that pass made?
I had it in mind the whole time. I was never going to do anything too stupid because I am in the title race, and, second is still better than last, and I'm not really fighting Costello at the moment for it, but, you want to win at this point, and I'll take every point I can get with these last few races, especially since Joel caught up again to third there. So, it was in the back of my mind, but I'm like I was saying earlier, I just am tired of getting raced poorly, and I wanted to, I guess part of me wanted to prove a little point there that I can get by anyway, but that was obviously prevented.
Well, still a great job here tonight to take the sprint win, P2 in the feature. Congratulations. Shout-outs for you once again.
Yeah, shout out to Zach. Unfortunately, we were running 2-3 there for a bit, but he lost his internet, so tougher points net for us than we were hoping for, but I think still a good night overall. Shout out to all my support. Alan watching from home. We got Project 2 and the rest of the gang looking on it, I think so. Yeah, it could have been a better night, but I'll take a first and a second, definitely. I just hope it stays cleaner for the last few races.
Certainly. Carrying some momentum into Detroit next week. Hoping the best for you. We'll hope to talk to you again next week.
Yeah, thanks. Detroit should be another good ground, so yeah, see you there.
Alrighty, well, robbed of the win last week due to not taking tires. But no such troubles here tonight. Michael Costello will be on the top step for realsies this time after taking the pole on the invert. A lot of strong defense there against Mitch Welker to hang on to the victory here tonight. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I mean, it is no small feat to fend off Mitch Welker for any amount of time. But in a 40-minute race, I think you played about 25 minutes of defense here tonight. Not that this is a particularly easy track to get past anyway, but you seem to have the moves figured out.
Yeah, no, I mean, just did everything I could to keep him behind, just use my experience to my advantage. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And ultimately, I came out on top. And yeah.
The thinking to stay out even just one lap longer, were you worried if you stayed out any longer than that it would swing a different way, because you still had quite the gap on him, even just pitting one lap later?
No, not really. I was kind of testing that whole thing in practice just to see if it's faster to undercut or overcut. But I found what strategy worked at that track, and I just used it to my advantage again. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it worked. So we'll just keep doing what we've been doing, and yeah, we'll just keep coming out on top. So yeah, I just want to thank Titus as well for that. Without him, ultimately, I probably wouldn't have figured out that strategy. But yeah.
Matt, what you got for the race winner?
Yeah, congrats on a good run here, and you're getting the dub for real this time, so I'm sure that has to feel good. But you had Mitch right behind you for more than half of this race. Had to be pretty difficult to play defense against somebody with his kind of speed, and he didn't have the kindest of words for some of the defense you were playing. Do you have anything to say to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of unprofessional on some of the things he says. To be honest, I don't really get affected too much by it. Personally, I don't really think I did much wrong, but, it's not really my word. That's all up to the officials. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I race IRL. I know what to do. And yeah, I just race everyone like how I do in real life. I mean, it's the same thing pretty much. So, yeah, that's just it. I mean, I've been taken out a lot this season, and I'm not going to say anything kind of like that. Just keep pushing forward, and that's it at the end of the day.
Elbows were definitely out tonight. Strong defensive drive and walking away with the dub here tonight. Congratulations. Anybody else who want to shout out?
Yeah, I just want to thank the whole team, Eclipse Competition. Without them, I probably wouldn't have won the race. Titus and I have been building this team since I think right before the Daytona 24, and it's been super successful. FIS last year was the first race we did in this league, and since then I think we grew a lot. I also want to thank Sam McDougall for everything he does for the team. Without him, a lot of stuff wouldn't be the same. I want to thank ProGuard Warranty, EDA Eyewear, Racesuit Valet for supporting me throughout the whole season. Keeping me in racing. I also want to thank my dad and mom for supporting me as much as they can in my racing career. And yeah, that's really about it.
Alrighty, partner. Go celebrate. We'll hopefully talk to you again next week at Detroit.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
Boy, it wouldn't be Barber without some barbs thrown here tonight. We don't usually get awfully steamy here on Turn 200, but I suppose after a race like tonight, the tight confines, the offense, the defense, it was bound to happen eventually.
Yeah, that was pretty good stuff there in the interviews. Like you said, typically don't get those types of reactions to what happened on the racetrack, but a little bit welcome. Love to see some colors flying here in the in the interview room. So. Yeah, I mean, it was a great battle between those two all night as well. I mean, really good stuff. Fun to watch that feature race and watch Welker and Costello really go at it. So shout out to both of them. They put on a show for us here tonight, as did many of the other drivers here as well. And shout out to everybody that was in the chat. Alan was here right here at the end. Thanks for chatting with us here tonight. So was Sam McDougall, the aforementioned Sam McDougall. Unfortunately, was not able to be here. Sounds like he was maybe having some hardware issues or maybe software issues with the gear. We'll have to see if we can get that figured out for next week. Josh Matichek, Christian Jasper, Jeff Mathis, Pivot, ZBTE. Oh, that's Zach Buchanan. Sorry about that. Leighton Lewis and John K, as well as Pamela Engrav, were all here tonight. Thank you for chatting with us. We always appreciate you talking to us here throughout the broadcast, and anybody else that was watching, always appreciate the support. And we got plenty coming up for you, including the return of the ASRL Sports Car Championship on Wednesday.
Yes, indeed. But before we get there, we just got to go right up the road from Birmingham to Talladega for the Talladega Superspeedway round number 3. The Venom Truck Series chase will be underway tomorrow night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and that is going to be an absolute blast. Can't wait to see how that shakes out. That will really determine who is in it for the championship tomorrow night, with just 2 races to go after the checkers drop at Talladega. Wednesday night, like you said, it's the ASRL Eminent Signs and Graphics Sports Car Championship, the debut of the LMP2s here on Turn 200, at least as a full-time series, or a full-time class, rather, as the GT3s will also be in the championship as well. Catch us at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time for their 3rd season of sports car racing here on the channel. Thursday night, it's the Max V Playoffs. It is the round 2 cutoff race from the Milwaukee Mile at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And that will lead us back into the GoSquadra Formula Super Series. Round number 9, the penultimate races of the season, will take place at Detroit Belle Isle next week at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. And I would imagine the standings amongst the top 3 are going to be very, very tight heading into the final 2 rounds of the season. So that's going to be a very exciting watch between Titus Sherlock, between Jowdy Gregorio, and, of course, Mitch Welker as well tonight, who had the exact kind of night that he needed. -1 position, but still great points night for driver 76. So we'll look forward to the final 2 races of the season here in the next 3 weeks for the GoSquadra Formula Super Series. Thank you to everybody that's hanging out with us. Thank you to Joey Selmants Motorsports Art. Check him out on Instagram. Thank you to the entire GoSquadra Formula Super Series admin team. Thank you to 4D Racewear. Thank you to GoSquadra.com. And thank you to the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. That's all I've got for you here tonight. Until we meet again from Barber Motorsports Park, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long, and congratulations to Mitch Welker on the sprint win and Michael Costello on his first feature victory. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.